Hello everyone, so today we are going to talk about morphological rules. Morphological rules are basically the rules that tell us how morphemes, the smallest meaningful units in a language, can combine to form new words. In other words, these rules explain how a base word can change its form, and how that change also affects its meaning. Now, let's look at the first example, which is the rule verb plus able becomes adjective. This rule means that when we add the suffix able to a verb, the verb changes into an adjective. The meaning of this new adjective is able to be verb plus ed or simply can be. Here are some examples. The verb accept plus able becomes acceptable, which means able to be accepted. The verb believe plus able becomes believable, which means able to be believed. And the verb enjoy plus able becomes enjoyable, which means able to be enjoyed. From these examples, we can see that the suffix able plays an important role. It transforms verbs into adjective, and at the same time it adds the meaning of fit for doing or fit for being done. For example, when I say this food is enjoyable, it means the food can be enjoyed. Or if I say her explanation is believable, it means her explanation can be trusted or makes sense. The suffix able helps make sentences more descriptive and precise. So, to sum up, the rule verb plus able becomes adjective is one of the most productive morphological rules in English. Many verbs can take this suffix to form new adjectives. And by understanding these rules, we can more easily guess the meaning of words that we might not have seen before.
Next, I will continue the example of morphological rules. The example number 2 is a on plus adjective become not adjective. The second rule is unroll. When we attach the prefix on to the an adjective, it usually changes the meaning to the negative form or not adjective. For example, friendly plus un become unfriendly. This is meaning not friendly. Happy plus un is a unhappy and meaning of unhappy. Speakable plus un become unspeakable. This is meaning not speakable. And this show how predictable the rules. We can often apply it freely to adjectives to create their opposites. However, it is also important to note that not all words follow these simple patterns. Some words have meanings that are the less predictable. For example, undo can mean refers an action. Unearth means to dig up. Unnerve that means to upset or fluster. They can show that morphological rules are productive, but they also interact with meaning and history of words. In other words, we cannot always guess the exact meaning just from the rule itself. And number 3 is a verb plus er become noun one who verbs. The third rule is er rule. When we add the suffix er to a verb, we form a noun that means a person or a thing that performs the actions of the verb. For example, analyze plus else become analyzer. That's a meaning of one who analyze. Hunt plus hunter, hunt plus er become hunter. That's a meaning one Wuhan. Love plus er become lover, some meaning one who loves. This is a very productive rule in English because we can apply it to a large number of words. Some common examples are driver, one who drives, examiners, one who examines, predictor, one who predicts. We can see that authors force into nouns that refer to agents or people who carry out the actions. It is also worth notice that in English the suffix or works in the same way as in actor or doctor, and often that's the same pronunciation. That's all from me. Thank you.
Alright, I'm Rahmat Nofagil Broka with the last student number 23. And for this opportunity, I would like to explain about hierarchical structure of word. So, hierarchical structure of word in morphology, basically how words with more than one morpheme are built. Let's break it down simply. First, affixes attached to a certain word classes. An affix like able or an doesn't attach to just any word. It has rules. Example, the suffix able attaches to verbs like adjust become adjustable, break become breakable, and debate become debatable. But able does not attach to an adjective. We cannot say happyable, studentable, or teacherable. So, affixes are selective about what kind of stem they can combine with. Next is the result belongs to a certain word class. When you add an affix, the new word usually belongs to predictable word class. For example, by adding able to a verb always gives an adjective. Like adjust become adjustable, compare becomes comparable, and debate become debatable. All these examples classify as adjective. This means affixes don't just attach randomly. They also determine the grammar class of the new word. Next is words with multiple affixes are built step by step or hierarchical process. If a word has more than one affix, it's not made all at once. Instead, affixes attach in order, depending on word class restrictions. For example, let's say if we take the word like unusable, it has prefix un, stem use, and suffix able. At first glance, you might think it's formed like this: un plus use plus able all at once. But that doesn't work. Why? Because an attaches only to adjectives. Able attaches to verbs. So the correct process is we take the stem first, which means use, and then add able. It becomes usable. So it can classify as an adjective. After that, we can add an. So it becomes unusable. And it's classified as adjective. That's why word formations is hierarchical, which means step by step, not flat. So to sum up what I have explained, affixes only attach to certain types of words. The resulting word belongs to a predictable class. Just like what I mentioned before, by adding a verb, it always becomes adjective. And the last one is complex words with multiple affixes, like unusable before, are built in steps, not all at once. So that's it. For further explanations will be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Indah Hadikala. Now let me continue explain about hierarchical. The words are formed by steps, have a special type of structure characterized as hierarchical. This hierarchical can represent it by means of a tree diagram or morphology tree. It helps to clarify the word structure. Let me give the example. For example, the word unusable. It has three morphemes: unusable. To make the tree, start from the bottom to up. The base word use is a verb or verb root came together with suffix able becomes usable, an adjective. Then word usable came together with prefix un, then it becomes unusable, an adjective. So let me repeat. Start from the verb use, then it add the suffix able, then add the prefix un, then it made unusable. Next, another example, it's disproportionately. Let's start from proportion, which is a noun, came together with suffix ate, so it gives us an adjective proportionate. Then word proportionate come together with prefix dis. It becomes disproportionate, another adjective. And then disproportionate came together with suffix li, then it becomes an adverb, disproportionately. That's how word disproportionately made. The tree is important because it tells us the story of the word made. As I said before, the morphology tree shows the word structure and the hierarchy, the order in which affixes are attached. That's all from me. I'm sorry if there's a mistake. Thank you.
Alright, this is the last part of today's presentation. With me, Muhammad Halidwi Putra, I am as the last presenter will going to present to you about the hierarchical structure. The previous presenter already mentioned about the structure that consists of the base word, the prefix, and suffix. Now, what about the example of a word that consists of base word, one prefix, and three suffixes? That's what we are going to talk about. The word unsystematically consists of base word, system, un as the prefix, and three suffixes, etic, el, and li. Start with a group 1, the system, will change the form class from noun into adjective. If we add etic after system, it becomes systematic, and the word class will different from the first, noun to adjective, systematic. Then if we put un before systematic, it will become unsystematic, which the mean will become the opposite. It will have the opposite meaning from the first one. Before we move to the next suffix, the second one, I think you guys already have a question. Why the presenter mentioned the first suffix first after the base word, not the prefix one? So it's unsystematic. Why I mentioned systematic first? Well, it's because you cannot put un in noun class word. So we need to change the word noun into adjective first. From system to systematic. Then un can join the structure, becomes unsystematic. Well, let's move to the second one. The second suffix is al. Then from unsystematic to unsystematical. The meaning is still same, but it becomes more formal than unsystematic, and the classwork still adjective. Finally, the last suffix, the third one, is li, from unsystematical to unsystematically, and the classwork will different from adjective to adverb, and the result is the word unsystematically. To conclude, we discussed about morphological rules and hierarchical structure of words. In morphological rules, there are 3 examples, such as from the form class, verb plus able will become adjective, from un plus adjective will become non-adjective, and verb plus will become noun. In hierarchical structure of words, we discuss about how step by step root will become another class at the end of the word. For example, the verb root use will become adjective word usable, and the noun root system will become adverb word unsystematically. I think that's all from our group. Thank you for watching. See you and have a nice day.